Greg's Leftovers.
Yeah, it's Leftovers, where I read the jokes we didn't use this week, and as always, it's my first time reading them. So if they suck, we'll baste Joe Mackey in gravy and leave them on Joy Behar's doorstep. Yeah. So in her new book, Kamala Harris said, Pete Buttigieg would have been an ideal partner if I were a straight white man. Tim Walz also said the same thing. But Harris admitted she didn't pick Pete as her VP because she thought a homosexual was too big of a risk. So instead, she picked this guy. Apparently because George Michael was dead. R.I.P. But it's true, Kamala admits Walz was never her first choice. It's the fastest she's turned her back on someone since Willie Brown asked her to roll over. Terrible. Kind of glad I didn't read these. Scientists say brainwaves suggest there may be consciousness after people are declared clinically dead. Democrats hope the news will help Joe Biden defend his pardons. A manager at Office Depot was fired for refusing to make flyers for a Charlie Kirk memorial. But she quickly found another job doing public appearances for Kool-Aid. She's fat and she's wearing a red shirt. That's how we think here. New York Governor Hochul is being mocked after she endorsed Zohran Mamdani, but he refused to return her favor. Some say he stabbed her in the back just so he could avoid looking at her face. French First Lady Brigitte Macron has agreed to provide scientific evidence that she is indeed a biological woman. If she's successful, guess who may try and do the same thing? Meanwhile, in New York City, teachers are praising a cell phone ban in schools, especially since they're now in charge of checking the students' buttholes for phones. You don't hear the word butthole on special reports. Unless it's Brit Hume. That's a great butthole. Great butthole you have there. Amazing. It's an amazing butthole. A daredevil set himself on fire and dragged a car for 328 feet to set a new world record in what Guinness Book is calling the most dangerous automotive event not involving a female driver. Animal experts face their most challenging rescue of the season, freeing an entangled whale amid 45-mile-per-hour winds. Luckily, she was able to make it to ABC Studios in the morning. Encourage them. These are terrible. Mayor Eric Adams is calling for a ban on carriage horses in New York City. But don't worry, there are still plenty of places to see horses in NYC. 2 in a row. A Florida mom delivered a massive baby that weighed nearly 14 pounds. But the state denies there is a plan to turn her vagina into a migrant detention center. They can't all be winners. A passenger on a cruise ship jumped overboard to avoid a $16,000 gambling debt. But being smart, he just bet someone $17,000 that he would jump off a cruise ship. A porn star told the New York Post she gets over 100 messages a day concerning male insecurity over penis size. However, after investigating, we found out that they're all coming from the same account. Yeah. Scientists in the Netherlands are using microscopic robots to create bionic sperm. Huh. I wonder if you can taste the difference. A New Hampshire man is the latest to get a kidney transplant from a gene-edited pig. He repaid the donor by having him for breakfast. A North Carolina husband married to 3 women has been arrested on bigamy charges. If found guilty, he will be forced to stay married to 3 women. And finally, in China, 2 teens who peed in the soup at a popular restaurant have been ordered to pay a hefty fine. In the meantime, patrons are asked not to order the number 1. All right, let's do a mono. Wow, that was painful, but fun. So every time I think of the media, I'm reminded of the movie The Sixth Sense. You know, when Bruce Willis walked around the whole time not knowing he was dead. Now, if you think that's a spoiler, I also have bad news regarding the end of Old Yeller. Oh. Turns out the dog was gay. But the whole time Bruce thought he was alive, he wasn't. And the only person who could see him was a sad little brat. And how'd he turn out? It's weird. Why do all child stars turn into lesbians? But doesn't it feel like the media's time is up and they still don't know it? First, there's Don Lemon, who went from CNN to See You Next Tuesday.
You live in New York?
Who are you? Don Lemon.
You're a moron, dude. Thank you. So are you.
That's why I said you're a moron to begin with.
Why would you call me a moron? You're a moron. Why do you want to insult me?
Because it just comes out, man.
And he's taking it from all sides. Even Brits are joining in.
When your team asked me what subjects, and I asked them 2 or 3 times, I have the text messages, what do you want to cover? Yeah. Not once was CNN mentioned. So I don't appreciate being ambushed, but let me answer your question. Here's, I think that's completely disingenuous. And I think anyone watching this
What are you talking
know
about?
And so if you will let me, if you will allow me, please
What
please
are you
stop
talking
interrupting
about?
me, okay? Did you invite me here to interrupt me, or are you going to let me
I think you're
answer
being
the
a
question?
complete dick, if I'm honest with you.
Poor Don. Now, the only thing people want to hear from him is, hi, I'm Don. I'll be your server tonight. And remember Howard Stern? He's supposed to be a shock jock, but now the only shocking thing is how his Louis XIV wig clings to his head. Then there's the human hoagie, now white knighting over Jimmy Kimmel.
This is so serious, Aaron. Yeah. America is a less free place if late-night comedians cannot do and say what they want. But this really does have a chilling effect across the American media.
Talk about an about face. This was also him not long ago.
Reducing a liar's reach is not the same as censoring freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is different than freedom of reach. And algorithmic reach is part of the problem.
But you can't expect Brian to see both sides since he hasn't seen his own penis in years. Then there's one of MSNBC's few remaining lesbians, Chris Hayes. Here's him now.
ABC made the announcement Kimmel would indeed be taken off the air indefinitely. And this is just the latest chapter in Donald Trump's ongoing campaign to crack down on free speech, dominate the media, and essentially render the First Amendment meaningless.
Now here's the before when he went after Fox.
If you act like a sociopath over and over and over and over, you will become unpopular on the national stage. Over time, probably not going to work out well for you in the long run. Eventually, people will be rightly offended, disgusted by it.
So you get my point. These people are assholes. So in a way, it's not about Jimmy. True, his ratings are lower than Biden's nuts in a steam room. But it's about the douchebags coming to his aid. So why do they disgust me so much? Well, for the longest time, I've been imploring people to share the risk, defend people in trouble who are outgunned by the media. The point being, even though you incur risk defending them, it's being shared, and that's how you beat the woke. Well, these asshats never did that. They sided with the mob at every turn, and they even came after us over and over. And now they desperately fake a heroic stance, swarming around a celebrity already designated by their industry as a defender of democracy, an anti-Trump icon. There's no risk here. This is just sheep acting like sheep. Now, maybe I should ignore their hypocrisy. And maybe I should share the risk with Jimmy, even though they hung us all out to dry. I do think Jimmy should be back on the air, at least to explain himself, even though he and all the other pieces spent years putting targets on our backs. But maybe that's what Charlie Kirk would want. I mean, he did platform his haters. There's probably no stronger position in the world, and it cost him his life, but it changed the world. You can feel it. The morons I mentioned no longer control the narratives. Their power to shape vast audiences is gone. Millions of people are now speaking the truth across the country, and the fraudsters are dwindling, which means they can no longer push hoaxes like Joe Biden had a working brain or that Kamala had a working liver. You know, just a few years ago, that wasn't possible. You would have no idea there were others out there like you or me who thought these guys were full of. But today, the emperor that was once the media has no clothes. And I mean that metaphorically. No one wants to see these assholes naked. All right. Charlie Sheen has a new book. How did you end up on this show?
I'm asking myself that right now. No, the math is pretty simple. Fallon wouldn't return my call. I walked 20 feet off of Jesse Waters' stage. Saw you.
Yes.
You jumped up off the couch, screamed my name. We've never met before.
Right.
Gave me a giant hug and said, "Hey, you want to do the show?"
Yes.
And I was like, "Yeah."
And here we are.
And here we are.
Yes. I feel like I've known you all my life. What do you make of this current climate? I mean, you've been, watching what we've been watching. The world is changing.
Well, as far as the Kimmel stuff, I am a firm believer in freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
Especially some of the speech that I believed in. But all of that said, I saw the dismissal as a potential job opening, and if they want to, fix that show and get some ratings, this guy.
That is genius.
Thank you.
Except, though, you'd be my competition, and he would kill me. Emily, what do you make of this? I'm in a quandary, because I want to have a principled stance about speech, but at the same time, I know that they will exploit it against me.
And I don't think the issue here is the constitutionally protected free speech against government that a lot of people on the left are talking about. The issue here is accountability for behavior as an employee. And in the entertainment industry, it's accountability for whether your behavior and speech is popular. So no one has an issue when we have to issue apologies for inaccuracies that we say on air, or when we correct the record for a guest on the show in real time. So I'm not quite sure here, when it's also during a climate of this host inviting half the country to not watch because they voted a particular way in the election, and when his ratings were already plummeting, wouldn't this be just 3 strikes against him? And to your point earlier about the other platforms, there are a million different ways that he can still have a big microphone. He can start his own podcast and go on OnlyFans and do whatever else is available to him that Don Lemon is enjoying. But at the end of the day, if you're on broadcast network television, do you think there's not someone behind the desk that signs your contract? Do you think you're not an at-will employee like all of us are here in New York? So I think this has been distorted yet again to make him the victim instead of Charlie Kirk. A man was murdered for actual speech. This guy was just fired for being a dick.
Jamie, I know you're kind of shocked because you've never heard applause before.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's people putting their hands together when they hear something good. Now, You're a comedian.
Mm-hmm.
Where
Thanks for letting everyone know.
Where do you stand on this?
So I'm really torn on this one because Kimmel got canceled, and he wasn't even doing a joke, right?
Yes.
Like he was just putting forth an opinion. So I hated that he did that. The other thing that makes this complicated for me and my wife, we have the only show we watch together is Celebrity Family Feud, and Kimmel has been replaced with Celebrity Family Feud, and it is a dream come true. And I think Stelter was like, oh, this is what Trump wanted. This is what me and my wife want, too. And you're never going to, it's just entertainment. You're never going to turn on and see Steve Harvey dressed like a syringe, you know?
Yes.
It's always going to be this guy. It's a dream come true. It would be like if they replaced The View with just anything else. Lastly, can I just say that Stelter stuff is infuriating when you put those clips side by side. This dude, he is such a hip. I'm forgetting the word. He's such a hippo.
Kat, we talked about this last night. You made it very clear that you have to take a principled stance, even though you know they're not going to do it for you.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he wouldn't do it for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, my issue was, again, the FCC saying we could do this the easy way or the hard way, and then the show being canceled. That's my issue. Got into the whole thing yesterday, but I still would sit down and talk to people I disagree with. If Kimmel ever wanted to sit down with me and hear a different perspective, I'd be open to that. I also am guessing that he would not.
Yeah.
Actually, I'd feel confident saying I know for a fact that he would not. Because of the fact that he had this opinion, which I said a few days ago, proves that I don't think he has anyone in his life that has any different opinions or even moderate opinions, let alone right-wing opinions. But, you know, I think he'd be probably worried he would, like, catch the Fox News from me.
Yeah.
People do act like that, like, oh, she works at Fox News. I'm like, do you think it's some sort of disease? Like, it's just a platform to share ideas. And there are different ideas that are shared on this platform, as you pointed to yesterday.
Yeah, no, it's true. It is kind of like the Fine People hoax. People didn't want to hear about the hoax because they knew you would then you would know the truth. And the truth is contagious.
Well, maybe yours.
That was unnecessary.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.